Sam with Growing Older, Living Bolder. I'm with Kevin right now, and we're in our RV, and we're heading out of town to Mammoth. I hope you'll join me along the way for our trip, and we'll have some good things to talk about on the way.
Hi everyone, how you doing? I'm Kevin. I'm growing older than Pam. A little bit.
No, he has to make fun of me. So how's the drive been so far?
Been just fine.
No problems?
No problems, no events or anything like that. Just sat down in the seat at 10 o'clock this morning, and here it is almost 3 in the afternoon. I haven't moved. So my feet and my hands on the steering wheel.
So Kevin just reminded me that we are violating one of our very big rules where we don't like to drive more than 4 hours at a time. So here we are, a little over schedule for being in a RV and sitting. So can't wait to get out. I'm really looking forward to this little segment to be over. Today, Kevin, Nala, and I have been heading up the legendary historic Route 395 along the Eastern Sierra to one of our most favorite scenic highways in California. I actually have a granddaughter named Sierra for this majestic place. So we have been traveling in our Renegade 35-foot Super C motorhome, and we're diving into the good, the bad, and the ugly of RV camping, especially in a big rig this size. This is one of those episodes where you're probably going to laugh and nod and say, yep, I've been there. So after 48 years of marriage, Kevin and I have learned that traveling together requires patience, humor, and lots of snacks. And Nala, she's our big standard white poodle. She's been hanging out on the drive in her favorite window. Traveling as a team is part of the adventure and sometimes part of the comedy. Let's talk about the good part of RV camping, the comfort and the convenience. Let's start with the good, because honestly, there's a lot of it. Traveling in a big RV means comfort. We get to bring our Blackstone grill, our outdoor cooking, our Starlink for reliable internet, and a full kitchen with a refrigerator big enough to hold all the groceries that we want for an entire week or two. It's like taking your home on vacation with you. You don't have to worry about forgetting something because chances are you packed it. So a little bit more of the good. There's tons of space, lots of storage. One of the biggest perks of a Super C is the storage. We can bring more clothes, more groceries, more tools, more gear, more just in case items that Kevin swears that we're going to need someday. We just haven't quite needed them yet. I always joke that if Mammoth Lakes ever runs out of supplies, they can come knock on our RV door because we probably have it. And the best part, everything has a place. So here we are, Mammoth Lakes RV Park in Mammoth Lakes, California. And we are just finalizing our setup. We have a nice little spot here underneath some really pretty little trees. It's probably around 75 degrees here, so way cooler. We have our little Nala here. Nala, say hi. No tripping over backpacks or squeezing past coolers. We actually have a generator for power. We also have air conditioning, lights, comfort, even when we're not plugged in. This is a game changer in the summer heat. Nala thinks that this generator was installed specifically for her comfort, and honestly, she might be right. Having reliable power makes RVs feel like a true home, not just a vehicle. Now, let's talk about some of the bad. Definitely, the bad is the fuel cost, because our RV only gets about 8.5 to 10 miles a gallon on a good day. And that means every scenic mile comes with a scenic price tag. We've reached the point where the gas station guy actually recognizes us, and he usually waves. I think he kind of wonders if we live there. It's the reality of owning a big RV. You get comfort, but you definitely pay at the pump for it. So a little bit more about the bad. There's towing limitations. When we're towing our vehicle, we just can't stop and pull over, grab food, or we can't explore the roadside attractions like I'd really like to. We need long, wide pullouts, and those aren't always available. So when I see a jerky shop or a craft barn or an antique store that I'd really love to check out, just wave goodbye because it disappears behind us. It's like watching opportunities float away in slow motion. Another bad, no good restaurants because usually they don't have parking in the parking lots that's capable of parking a big RV with a tow vehicle. So here we are at a rest stop cooking our meals again. And we do that a lot. Because we can't easily pull out into restaurants, we often end up cooking most of our meals at these rest stops. Picture this: Kevin's flipping eggs in the Blackstone while there's a semi that's actually rumbling right next to us. So he calls it just rustic dining. Not quite. I call it we forget to plan. But hey, it's part of the adventure, and honestly, some of our best meals have been cooked in the most unexpected places. Let's talk a little bit more about the bad. Hookups are generally needed at some point during your trip. For RV, it's big and it's power hungry, and we prefer electric hookups. We prefer water, and we love to have the sewer so we can take those nice, hot, long showers. That means that we're often limited to staying at RV parks and not smaller scenic campgrounds that are tucked into the forest or along a pretty lake. The Sprinter van, oh, that thing can go anywhere. The big RV, nope. It's more like a determined elephant, majestic, powerful, but it's just not exactly very nimble. Now, let's talk a little bit about the ugly. Missing all those roadside attractions. Yep, that's definitely the ugly. Here's the ugly truth. Route 395, it's just full of cute, quirky shops, jerky shops, antique stores, craft barns, scenic overlooks, and historical markers. There's so many places to pull off the road. I have my wish list. But with a 35-foot RV towing a vehicle, we simply can't pull over quickly, and we can't do it safely. So we miss out on so much. It's like watching a parade go by and actually not being able to stop and enjoy it or even watch it. This is the part of RV life that really tugs at me. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about the highlights of Route 395. 95 that I want to talk about is on the Eastern Sierra Corridor. It's a very scenic overview. Historic Route 395, it actually is one of the most beautiful highways in California. It runs along the Eastern Sierras, and it's got dramatic mountains, it's got beautiful desert landscapes and historic towns, and all of them tell a story. The scenery is always changing. One minute you're in the wide open desert, and the next minute you're surrounded by towering granite peaks. It's the kind of road that makes you want to roll down your windows, stick your head out, and breathe in the adventure. Along the way, there's a town called Olancha, and there's Lone Pine. And nowadays, you actually go around Olancha. They've rerouted 395, so you don't get to see much of that town. Olancha's rugged, and it's a little quiet town, and it's known for mining. It has a big ranching history behind it. It feels like you're stepping back in time. And then when you reach Lone Pine, that little town is famous for Mount Whitney and the Alabama Hills. Hundreds of movies were filmed here, from old westerns to modern blockbusters. The scenery there, it looks like Hollywood backdrops because it actually really is old backdrops for movies. They filmed westerns there. You half expect a cowboy to ride up. So then there's the town of Independence and the town of Big Pine. Independence, it offers old Western charm and the Eastern California Museum, which is full of local history. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's full of character. Big Pine is gateway to the ancient bristlecone pine forest, which is the home to the oldest living trees on Earth. And some of these trees are over 4,000 years old. These trees have seen more history than all of us combined. And then finally, we get to Bishop, the heart of the Owens Valley. Bishop is the largest town along the route, and it's full of life. It's known for fishing, for hiking. It has a parade every year around Memorial Day called Mule Days celebration, and those incredible mountain views. There's something else. And yes, they have Schatz Bakery. And if you don't know, it's one of the best bakeries around. Bishop has a warm and friendly vibe, and it makes you want to stay for a while. It's the kind of town where you feel like you've been there before, even if you really haven't. So arriving here in Mammoth Lakes, our final destination, we made it. It's a stunning mountain town surrounded by forests, lakes, rivers, and endless outdoor recreation. It's beautiful in every season. Today, I am sitting out by Lake Mary and having a nice evening at Lake Mary. Even the air feels like it's been filtered through pine trees. There is something magical about Mammoth. It's a mix of adventure, serenity, and definitely natural beauty. We're in the heart of the Mammoth Mountain ski area. The gondolas, and then there's the area over here that's the main lodge. Mammoth has volcanic history, and if you haven't seen my other video, check out my part 2 video on the Mammoth Lakes earthquake fault. Mammoth Lakes, it sits on one of the most fascinating and sometimes misunderstood geological areas in California. We're talking about the Long Valley Caldera system. It's a massive volcano basin created by a super eruption about 760,000 years ago. That eruption was so large that it spread ash across most of the western United States. Today, that caldera is quiet, monitored, and it's safe, but it still has several active volcanic features. Some of those active volcanic features in the Mammoth region include 5 major active volcanic areas that are here around Mammoth. There's the Inyo craters, the Mono craters, there's the Mammoth Mountain, and the Hot Creek geothermal area. And then there's the Long Valley caldera itself. So anymore, there aren't any erupting volcanoes, but they are active volcanic systems, meaning the earth beneath Mammoth is still warm, it's still moving, and it's still breathing. The Inyo craters, let's talk about what they are and when they were formed. The Inyo craters are one of the most dramatic reminders of Mammoth's volcanic past. They formed about 600 years ago during the series of explosive eruptions that blasted out huge pits in the earth. Today, they're quiet, and they have little turquoise blue pools surrounded by forest. They're peaceful, beautiful, and a little eerie when you know the history behind them. Then, make sure you check out my video in detail about the earthquake fault. This is the Mammoth Mountains earthquake fault. This is a nice little place just to make a little stop and check out the area and enjoy a little break off the road. It's truly beautiful here. We have a lot of trees, a lot of shade, and a big hole in the ground. It's a long, deep fissure in the ground that was created by a powerful earthquake about 100 years ago, around the same time the Inyo craters were formed. It's not actually a fault line, it's a giant crack that was actually caused by the ground that was pulling apart during the intense seismic activity. Visitors, they usually can walk around it, and you used to be able to walk down into it, but they don't allow that anymore. So the last volcanic scare was in the 1980s. Mammoth's last major volcanic scare happened in the early 1980s when a swarm of these quakes shook the area. The scientists discovered rising magma beneath the caldera. For a while, there was real concern about possible volcanic activity. The town even had an evacuation plan that was made ready. Fortunately, the magma never reached the surface and the area settled down. It was a reminder that Mammoth sits on a living geology. The Horseshoe Lake area, it's known as the dead tree area. There's active gas underneath, so they don't recommend sunbathing on the actual sand. So this is some of the area where the CO2 gas has damaged the roots of these trees and killed these trees long ago. And we're at Horseshoe Lake. At least this is what's left of it. I've seen it when it's been all the way up to the tree line. And this is probably the lowest I've ever seen it. There's an entire grove of dead trees, but they aren't dead from fire, not from drought, but from the carbon rising naturally from underneath the volcanic vents. It displaces oxygen in the soil, so it suffocates the roots. It's a dramatic visual reminder that the volcanic system beneath Mammoth is still very active. It's still releasing these gases and still shaping the landscape. So even with all this volcanic history, Mammoth, it's a very safe place. It's heavily monitored and one of the most beautiful places in California. The geothermal activity gives us the hot springs, the warm ground, the stunning geological formations, all part of what makes Mammoth incredibly unique. Maybe we should talk a bit about the RV limitations in Mammoth. So many of the most beautiful campgrounds and recreational areas don't allow large RVs like ours. Devil's Postpile, the small forest campgrounds, and the tight mountain roads, they're off limits to our big rig, but they are accessible to our Sprinter van, and the van is like a nimble little mountain goat. The RV, well, it's a very determined little elephant. Both have their place, but they offer very different experiences. So today, we've covered the good, the bad, and definitely some of the ugly about RV life. We talked about the comfort, the convenience, and the freedom of a big RV, and it's very comfortable. And we also outlined the challenges, the fuel cost, the towing limitations, cooking at rest stops, and missing out on all our spontaneous roadside fun. But here's the truth. RV life, it's good, it's bad, and it has a lot of ugly moments, but it's all part of the adventure. So we talked about many good reasons to have a big rig, RV, and we also outlined several bad. So whether we're boondocking in the van, cruising in the Renegade, or cooking at a rest stop, we are always growing older and living bolder. And every step of the way, this is our time to shine. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next adventure. If you enjoy this talk, please like, and I hope you will subscribe. Thank you.
As the sunrise paints the sky anew, I look in the mirror, it's a different view. Lines on my face tell stories untold. I'm older now, but my heart's turning bold. Years have passed like whispers in the breeze. I've weathered the storms, found my inner ease. With every challenge that I've left behind, I rise from the ashes, the stars realign. I'm older and feeling bolder. This is my time to shine. With every dream that I hold, I'm breaking the mold, embracing this life. It's finally mine.